All right, welcome everybody. This is our inaugural event of the IoT and Beyond Podcast, and I'm your host, Ed Hightower. In every episode, we'll be interviewing some brilliant minds and innovators and entrepreneurs that are advancing technology and using it to change the world. So today we're discussing AI for the rest of us with a distinguished figure in the world of technology innovation, Dr. Yeshwant Muthusamy. He's affectionately known as Doc or Dr. YKM, or I call him Yeshwant. He's a good friend of mine. So looking forward to it. Dr. Muthusamy is a visionary force behind his Yeshvik, YESHVIK solutions, Yeshvik solutions, based in the vibrant tech hub of North Texas, and has an exciting career spanning over 29 years. He has pioneered advances in artificial intelligence, natural language processing, Internet of Things, and the intriguing realm of augmented reality and virtual reality. The guy's been very interesting to watch what he's been doing over the years. Beyond his technical acumen, he's passionate about the use of blockchain technology and the varied life-changing applications beyond just cryptocurrency. As we delve into the world of cutting-edge technology today, let's also look forward to Dr. Muthusamy's course that's coming up. It's called Generative AI for the Rest of Us. It'll be starting January 23rd at Collin College. If you check the chat, you'll be able to see some information about that, or you go to Dr. Muthusamy's LinkedIn profile. It'll also be there, or his website. So there should be able to find the information on how to sign up and go through the class. It's a 6-week long class. Very interesting. The course will demystify AI for not only the enthusiasts, but also for professionals. So with that, let me welcome Dr. Yeshwant Muthusamy.
Thanks, Ed. You can call me by my first name. That's fine.
I know I've always done that for years. And
I know. So it's kind of strange.
I'm not used to that. But thank you very much for your graciousness.
Yeah, but it's it's great to be here and great to see so many people online. I enjoyed talking about technology, so this is great.
Awesome. Well, let me go ahead and get started here, and I'll throw out a couple of questions for you, and you can give us your insights and your perspective on it. So could you start by giving us an overview of your current projects in artificial intelligence and or augmented reality and virtual reality, and then maybe IoT as well, Internet of Things?
Sure. In terms of my current projects in AI, this course at Collin College is taking up quite a bit of my time, I've come to realize, mainly because I've also, this is a good learning for me, trying to create non-technical slides that talk about a specific technology is a lot more difficult than creating technical slides to talk about that technology. And my focus in this course is to provide more of an overview, a high-level overview that focuses more on the value proposition. I've always worked at the intersection of technology and business throughout my professional career. And the one thing I've learned is people are not very interested in what the mousetrap is made of, but they are more interested in whether it's going to catch mice and how easily is it going to catch mice. So that has been a guiding principle of mine in everything that I do, and this course is no different. In AR, VR, a lot of my work in AR, VR has to do with 1 hour consultations with investment research firms who want to know more about the AR, VR landscape. I got into AR, VR during my stint at Samsung Research, and I also have a US patent that was issued based on my AR, VR work while I was at Toyota Motors. It had to do with using AR, VR for recalibrating of automotive sensors. And so I have always been interested in that, in the technology, but a lot of the work that I do of late has been more of trying to trying to talk to investment research firms who want to know more about where AR VR is and where it's going, and so on and so forth. Uh, IoT has been a long time passion of mine, and I have Ed here to thank for that. Ever since he started the IoT breakfast, and more recently, he and Gary Ramsey have started the IoT happy hour, and the talks that they hold during those two meetups have gone a long way towards helping me keeping abreast of the developments in IoT. But more importantly, I see a lot of synergy between IoT and AI in general, and more recently, IoT and generative AI.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, our IoT breakfasts, IoT, it's all on IoT Texas Meetup. So if you do a Google search for that, you can see we've been doing the breakfast for 9.5 years, and we've been doing the happy hour for over 2.5 years now. So I'm glad you were part of our. We have an awesome community here in North Texas, and you've brought a lot of value to it and brought people, got them to thinking about different things, different technologies that can be applied to Internet of Things, and generative AI is just one of the things that you've talked about that it can be a help.
Yep.
Well, let me ask you, how do you see these technologies changing our daily lives in the near future?
They're going to be. I mean, they're all, at the end of the day, these technologies are great tools, and we can talk a bit more about that. I mean, AI and generative AI have captured the mind share of the media and the general public consciousness since November of 2022, when ChatGPT was announced. I've in fact had people come and make a comment saying that, boy, AI was really invented last November. That is not true. I mean, AI has been around for a very long time, and that is one of the things that I touch upon in my course, to give people a good background of where we are and why we are where we are at this point in time. So, and AI, as we are seeing, especially with things like ChatGPT and Bard and Claude, they excel at what I call labor compression. They help you do things in a much more efficient manner, and they give you access to things much faster. But you have to be very careful to not overinflate their importance and what they can do for you. At the end of the day, they are just tools. They are going to help you, but if you're not careful, you could get hurt by them as well. So, but I think they have the capability to change how we think, how we work, and so they are quite really transformative technologies.
Wow. Yeah, I understand it's going to be, if you don't understand and you learn how to use ChatGPT and AI in general, that you're going to be behind the curve. So a lot of things are going to be relying on that and be augmented by AI, right?
Right. I mean, I've heard this from a lot of people, and I'm sure people on the call have had too, that AI is going to take your job. I don't quite agree with that, but what I will say is, the guy or gal who knows how to use AI is more likely to take your job than AI itself. I mean, we are quite a bit away from AGI or artificial general intelligence, but the people who understand AI and who are able to effectively use it as a tool are in a position to take the jobs of people who don't use AI.
Wow, good point. Very good point. Hey, so what motivated you to focus on generative AI and its applications?
I mean, it is. I mean, ever since it came into the public consciousness, I kind of began getting more deeply into it, and also that caused me to go back and see how it all came about. And it is a fascinating journey about how we went from expert systems to just plain machine learning, and then how we have move to generative AI, it is a very powerful technology, or rather a suite of technologies. And I say that, I mean, with generative AI, you are able to do tasks in a matter of mere minutes, which used to take hours. So it has its place. It is a very efficient tool. It increases your efficiency. It's able to pull from many more sources of information than you would be able to do yourself if it went for a tool like a ChatGPT or Bard. But that comes with its own set of issues. You have to be very careful. It was trained, I mean, these large language models were trained on a lot of stuff from all over the web, including the dark web. So it is because those guys at that time were adopted the principle that beggars can't be choosers. We just want data. So any and all data was fair game. Of course, if you talk to them now, they'll say we are now being very careful. We have guardrails. But anybody who has wanted to have ChatGPT go off the deep end, it's very easy to have it go off the deep end and give responses which are not quite what you would expect. So you have to be very careful.
Yeah, you were talking that's going to help us do our work better and quicker. My producer, Christy Shop, says that it takes what used to take her 10 hours now takes her 45 minutes.
Yep.
But it's like you can't edit a blank page. You need to go back and go through it to make sure that it is correct and accurate, whatnot. But now you don't have to worry about a blank page. You have something to work with. So it's a very powerful tool if you learn how to utilize it, sounds like.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is a question that you were pointing out to me earlier. In your view, how does generative AI interact with other technologies like blockchain, for example? I know you have done some work on blockchain. I heard you mention in one of the prior presentations, the ones you made at IoT Texas, our meetup site.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I began looking at blockchain in detail way back in 2016 or 2017. I mean, which was around the time that the hype about Bitcoin and Ethereum was kind of taken off. But here's the thing, right? As many of the people on the call might know, I mean, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies they just constitute one application of blockchain technology. And blockchain is such a powerful transformative technology, but all of the media's mind share is kind of consumed by Bitcoin, and people are very interested in know how much is the value of Bitcoin on any given day. And that's great. I have nothing against Bitcoin or playing in that space. But I think blockchain has got the capability, if it is adopted, to actually provide a lot more meaningful applications for people in general. I mean, just to give you one example, in the healthcare space, I mean, if the insurance companies would allow the use of blockchain technology, and there are already, I mean, to be fair to them, many of the big insurance companies are doing some proof of concept trials using blockchain, but having the patient data on the blockchain will allow the patients to be in full control of their electronic health records, because right now most people are not in full control of their electronic health records. It is their doctor's office or the insurance firms which are in control of that. But having you be in control of that and it kind of being traveled to it being able to travel with you as you go from the doctor to the doctor, and you having the final say in who has access to your health records, that is a powerful concept. And the other aspect of blockchain that I frankly find quite fascinating is its interaction with generative AI, because I see blockchain as providing the much needed guardrails for generative AI, because a lot of what the large language models do is not transparent. It's very opaque. You do not know where the data came from. You don't know how it was trained, with what data. And so with blockchain, because at the end of the day, what blockchain is, it is a technology that provides an immutable, kind of transparent audit trail of everything that has happened. So just to think about it, with blockchain, you could actually determine the provenance of the data which was used to train a large language model. So you can tell exactly where the data came from. And because blockchains have this notion of smart contracts, where everything can be programmatically done and you get paid if certain certain things or certain criteria fall into place. And with generative AI, that's a perfect fit, because if you have trained a large language model with contributions or books or textbooks which have been done by 5 different people, then it is very easy to automate how much each of those 5 people get paid based on the percentage of their contribution to that large language model. And the whole process can be automated through smart contracts. So you will not have this notion of lawsuits because a large language model is using somebody's IP. They will all be compensated for their IP, because everything is going to be very clearly documented on the blockchain. Yes, I do realize that getting to that stage that I just described is a non-trivial process. You have to build the infrastructure, but that shouldn't be a bottleneck per se. I mean, there is a lot of money with all these the large firms. And if you are able to build that infrastructure involving blockchain, a lot of the negativity that is associated with these large language models will just go away. So my point is, there is a technological solution for all of the issues that people keep mentioning about Gen AI and these large language models. And you can also create a large language model or a Gen AI marketplace where people can test where people can get a very clear understanding of the performance capabilities of a large language model and then pay for it, all completely automated with blockchain. So that is a very powerful world, but we are not quite there yet. I mean, very, very obviously, we are not quite there yet.
Are there any other examples of that are, I don't know, pressing, that you're really interested in, that generative AI could be applied to?
Generative AI has got I mean, in the area of for example, in the area of IoT, I can see a lot of applications of generative AI, and I go into a bit more detail about all these things in my course. In fact, I have an entire session devoted to blockchain and IoT interaction with Gen AI. Anywhere you want to develop scenarios of how things might work, and those kinds of the creation of scenarios can be helped with the use of Gen AI. So, for example, if you are in an IoT space of supply chain, if you want to optimize your supply chain, and you want to make sure that all of the goods are being transported in the proper fashion, you could use Gen AI to plot the most efficient route that is going to keep your goods at the proper temperature, and so on and so forth. Any kind of predictive and analytics, which previously was just using machine learning, if you add Gen AI to the mix, it's going to provide the various options, and it will help you pick the option that's the most efficient for you. And same for things like product marketing. If you're a soft drink firm, I mean, Gen AI can help you create new flavors. new soft drink recipes, new snack recipes, and so on and so forth.
Awesome. So we've got about 8 minutes left here in our presentation. Now we're going to, for everybody needs to drop off at 2:30, we're going to stop, but we'll carry on for a few minutes more after that with a couple of questions. Then we have a hard stop at 2:40. So, hey, what are your thoughts on the ethical implications of AI in general?
It is a very active area of study. There are a lot of articles and blogs on it. And I think it is a real problem that needs to be addressed. A few of the larger firms are beginning to address it. But you need, with Gen AI, the need for some kind of an AI governance framework has become even more acute because of the way these large language models are trained. I mean, at the end of the day, these large language models are basically nothing more than probabilistic parrots, as I like to call them, because all they are doing is regurgitating what they have learned from the training data. What that means is they are basically regurgitating and incorporating all of the biases and all of the racial and ethnic and sexual stereotypes that might have been there in the data. So that really is an issue that needs to be addressed. So which means you need to ensure that the provenance of your data is properly documented and maintained. And once you have trained the model, and so you have to make sure that your models are trained with the right kind of data. But if you have missed that boat and you are already have a model in deployment, you have to have an AI framework in place that is constantly monitoring how that model does. And if it is showing any instance of biases, then you need to take proper action. And that becomes a problem. I mean, that is a problem that is more acute if you're in a large firm that's trying to deploy these large language models. You need to make sure that it captures the diverse workforce and that it's not saying things that are going to turn off your existing or potential customers who might end up being offended by what these large language models are doing. So,
wow, very interesting. Yes, I agree. So, a lot of people are concerned about losing their jobs. What is your feeling about, will AI displace everybody out there?
I mean, it's like the memes that I saw recently that when the calculator was invented, people were concerned there won't be any more need for math teachers. I mean, I don't know how far that was true. The calculator was invented before my time, but the point here is, no, I don't think. Like I said, we are quite a bit away from AGI or artificial general intelligence, where the world is going to be overrun by machines that look like human beings and are as smart as human beings. But I think if you do not know how to use AI, there is a very good chance you're going to be left behind and you're going to end up being behind the curve. So AI is a new tool. I mean, it is a new kid on the block, and it behooves you to kind of learn more about it and how you can use it to improve your work. I mean, the work that people were doing that is now kind of taken over in some sense because a chatbot or a large language model is more efficient. All that means is that person can now learn to use that and therefore be more efficient and focus on tasks where their skills are more in demand. So,
do you have advice for someone that's getting started in their career and how they need to approach learning AI and generative AI and this whole suite of technologies?
Yeah, they should come take my course. No, I'm just
I love
kidding.
it. How true, how true.
No, I mean, I think that as people know, there is a wealth of learning material out there, and they would do well to learn the basics, learn how to use the tool, and more importantly, be very aware of what they can and cannot do with AI, because having the wrong impression of what it can do for you, will actually it can get you in a lot of bad places. So, because these tools, I mean, ChatGPT and Bard and Claude, they are very good, very powerful, but they have finite limitations, and you need to understand that.
Awesome. Good point. So kind of in the closing for our 30-minute, and we'll carry on some more. If anybody has questions that they would like me to ask, put it in the chat if you would, and I'll look at them in a moment here at 2:30 and ask Dr. Muthusamy. But in your opinion, is there a risk of AI becoming too intelligent for mankind to control?
I mean, there has been a long for a long time coming, there has been a debate about how close are we to the notion of singularity, where you are not able to tell between a human being and a machine. I don't think we are in any danger of it, especially based on what we've seen with ChatGPT 4 and all that. Anybody who says that ChatGPT 5 is going to be the true AGI, and it's going to happen within the next 1 or 2 years, or even 3 or 4 years, is probably working for OpenAI, or has got some other vested interest in saying so. I think we are quite a ways off from that, because there is a huge gap between what these tools are doing and the human intelligence. I'm still a big fan of native human intelligence, and I think that needs to be at the center of everything that we do with these tools, because these tools are just probabilistic parrots. They're just repeating what they've learned. And guess what? They learned the things that real human beings wrote. So,
yeah, good and bad.
Yeah.
So there is artificial intelligence called ANI, right? Artificial narrow intelligence.
Right. And we are, we are in the large gap between what I call ANI and what I call AGI. I would say we are just above the level of ANI, but we have a long ways to go to hit AGI. I mean,
so in
that's
our last 30
opinion.
seconds, is there anything else that you would like to say to the folks?
No, I think do not be afraid of AI. Embrace it, use it, and take the courses that you can. And I see Tony has just posted a flyer of our open house. So do come to our open house on Wednesday. As I like to say, come for the free pizza and soft drinks, and stay to talk about AI.
And there you go.
Not a bad deal. So
great. All right, now, so where can they find out about your course again?
Right now, my LinkedIn profile has got a pinned post on it, and that has the flyer. And I think Christy has the flyer with her as well. And maybe she wants to put it in the chat, or just show it here on the screen. And that's the same information that's on the pinned post on my LinkedIn profile. It's got a QR code which takes you to the website, where Perfect. You can see more about you can actually see the detailed course plan. And so that's
on your LinkedIn profile as well, right?
Yes.
What Christy is showing, my producer. All righty, great. Awesome. So with that, we'll officially call it an end to the 30-minute official beginning of the IoT and Beyond podcast. We'll take another 10 minutes here to kind of casually talk. If anybody has any questions for you, put them in the chat if you would. We're not on the. Eventually, we'll get on a different platform where we can do a little more interaction. But for right now, we'll do the chat thing.
Okay. If anyone wants to unmute, you can.
There you go.
Requested that you can unmute yourself and show your face, because this is a meeting. So it just, it's interactive now. If anyone would like to join, you can unmute your mic or turn your video on.
Awesome. What's fun about our IoT happy hours and our IoT breakfasts is that we have a very knowledgeable and interactive community. So it's been really fun. Hey, Bill James, did you want to ask a questions?
Yeah. So have you seen any use of cellular data being fed into usable AI modeling for traffic patterns and for economic zones and walkable zones.
So when you say cellular data, what type of data are you talking about?
Where they're pulling information out of the cell companies for where your phones are most active, at what speeds they're active at, so that you could tell where there's walking traffic versus car traffic.
I mean,
congestion point.
I haven't done any specific work in that area, but from what you're saying, I would think that kind of information you would need special authorization for, and I'm sure local law enforcement has that information or can get that information from the service providers, but I don't think that is going to be freely available because of the privacy concerns and so on. So, but that's my take on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the reason why Bill is asking is because you're in JPods, correct, Bill?
Yep.
And
Yeah, so we're building networks around where traffic patterns are at.
Right.
And so that kind of thing would be really helpful if you could take an AI engine and have it behave like slime mold to figure out how you connect.
Sure. I mean, right. Where I would start is to start talking with the big service providers like AT&T and Verizon. You might be able to enter into some kind of a business partnership with them, where they give you the data with all of the PII.
I'm sure there must be something, because like Waze does something with that on your traffic patterns.
Right.
So
I mean, Waze is now owned by Google. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a very good presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for being part of it. So does anyone else have a question for Yeshwant before we let him go? Very knowledgeable guy, and I just love hearing his explanations, whatnot. So I think Mohit is about to join us on the audio here. So we'll wait for him to join us in a second and ask his question. Does anybody else have one? Unmute yourself and nope. All right. So with that, Yeshwant, is there anything else that you would like to end our meeting on?
No, I mean, I think we live in really exciting times. I mean, this is each morning I open up my LinkedIn feed, I feel like I'm already falling behind, and I need to learn about the new thing that somebody has just posted about, either from OpenAI or from Hugging Face or one of the other companies. But after a while, you kind of learn to separate the actual grain from the chaff. So I would only say that there is a lot of hype out there, and not everything you read on the internet is true, but that kind of applies for a lot of things, really. Not just
words to live by. That's true. That's very true. So the replay of this presentation and question and answer session all will be on the IoT and Beyond YouTube channel. So if you do go to YouTube and search for IoT space AND space Beyond, then you'll find several presentations out there. And this one will be the latest one that we've got out there. So it'll be very interesting to go back and listen again, or have your friends go back and listen to it. So with that, we'll wrap up then, and thank everybody for joining us today. And we're hoping to do this on a regular basis. So we'll be sending out more information about it here soon to let you know the next presenter and our time frame and when we're going to do it. So thanks for coming,
guys. Thanks for having me, Ed.
Thanks, Yeshwant. Take care, bud. Talk to you later.